Welcome to Decode It, a podcast series helping understand more about computer technologies and its beginnings. I'm Ashley Griffin, involved in IT from the 1980s, first with the Atari ST, then onto computer networks in the early 1990s. This episode is about the history of the computer expansion card slots on the IBM ATX motherboard. There have been a number of design iterations including ISA, PCI and PCIe. ISA, Industry Standard Architecture, was created in 1981 by Mark Dean's team at IBM. The riser connectors installed on an ATX motherboard allow external adding cards to be connected. Use of the installed adding card could be both internal and external via the backplate of the computer system. Cards available for use were very varied, including CD player controllers, sound cards with game controller ports, multiple COM port cards for modems and remote access via dial-in phone number for business use, and extra communication ports such as SCSI for hard drives and tape backups, both internal and external use to the system. The riser ports on the motherboard have gone through many design iterations as the communication speeds have increased, starting as black ISA slots via two lengths, a short 8 megabytes per second and a longer 16 megabytes per second. It was a maximum of 6 per motherboard. In 1992, which is 11 years later, saw an extension called VESA, V-E-S-A, local bus, introduced to enable high throughput of 66 megabytes per second for graphics cards to be connected. Then in June 1992, a new generation of riser, PCI, which is Peripheral Component Interconnect, was introduced, generally white in colour. Originally running the cards at 5 volt, a newer 3 volt system came in with a mechanical alteration to stop them being installed in the older 5 volt slots. They were 32 bits with speeds of 133 and 266 megabytes per second. A longer slot version called PCI-X was also available, normally in servers and high-end PCs. They were 64-bit and had speeds of 266 and 533 megabytes per second. 2003, 11 years after PCI and 22 years past the original introduction, saw a new generation called PCIe, which stands for PCI Express. These had data lanes, hence the ×1, ×2, ×4, ×8 and ×16. The length of the connector would indicate the lane support. Any card would fit any port of a higher capacity. A ×4 card would fit into a ×8 connector. The version of the PCIe port would indicate the data throughput speed of each lane. Version 1 was 0.25 gigabits per second each lane. An 8 times connector was 8 lanes, so that was 2.5 times by 8 equals 2 gigabits per second. Each new version generally almost doubled the lane speed. So version 1 in 2003 was 0.25 gigabits per second. Version 2 in 2007 was 0.5 gigabits per second. Version 3 in 2010 was 0.985 gigabits per second. Version 4 in 2017 was 1.969 gigabits per second. Version 5 in 2019 was 3.938 gigabits per second. Version 6 in 2022 was 7.563 gigabits per second. And version 7 in 2025, so that's this year, is 15.125 gigabits per second. And then there's version 8, which is scheduled for 2028, will be 30.25 gigabits per second. So a version 6 PCIe x6 connector would be just over 120 gigabits per second. So that's 7.563 times by 16. Since the introduction of PCI and PCIe, there have been a few other connector types, not exclusive to adding cards, such as the M.2 connector for hard drives, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi cards. They also adhere to the PCIe version and lane width specifications, M.2 being the connected design, hence why both SATA and PCIe hard drives are available in the M.2 connector format. The high throughput of PCIe is why generally a motherboard only had a single PCIe x16 connector. Some higher end PCs and servers would have two. We have seen a few with 3 connectors, although one would drop back generally to 8 lanes if the other 2 had 16 lane cards installed and used. Thank you for spending some time with me. Subscribe to see more in the Decode It series.